Welcome, everybody, to another. This is going to be an exciting episode. This is one I think so far we've done has been the most exciting of Homesick Philly Bros. I am Gene Labordi. This is my brother Stephen Labordi, our producer, my lovely wife Rachel Labordi. We're going to get right into it right after Rachel gives us our plugs because we have a lot of information and a lot of fun to come.
All right. We are on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. All of our social media handles are on the screen, so take a screenshot if you're watching the video, or you can go to our website to find all of our links there. Our website is AML.NEWS.BLOG.
Alrighty. Exciting all fronts, all of our favorite fronts. Eagles got the win big over the Titans. Real quick, I was super right about I was way more right on our predictions of I had the Eagles winning at 27-17. You thought the Titans were going to beat us 28-16.
I did.
And
I'm glad I was wrong.
Dude, that was exciting. Except for penalties, which we will get to, but I also was double right in the fact that I said A.J. Brown was going to come back big, and boy, did he ever.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
That was two of some of the more exciting catches The one is still incredibly awesome, and the other one, that was awesome until he did this, and it was like, wow, this guy is legit.
Yeah, the difficulty level of that late hands catch he made in the end zone, I mean... Yeah, like the OBJ catch, sprawled out with one hand. It looks cooler, but just the difficulty level of popping those hands out, completely blanketed.
They were chest to chest, and he somehow
the ball actually hit the defender's shoulder pads, and it was amazing.
That late hand, what's he call that? Late hands?
Yeah, late hands.
Yeah, late hands.
Just so the defender has no idea the ball's even in the air.
And you're seeing it because that's how he gets shit
and good
done.
for him. Good for
real.
him. It's funny. You mentioned that from last week, his bloodshot eye makes him look cross-eyed. It does. I watched the post-game press conferences.
I didn't know it until
this week
that it was because he was throwing up so big because he was sick. And it's funny too because I was like upset with A.J. Brown. He had those fumbles, but they were like freak kind of weird things. But I was right. He bounced back and way to go against his old team. Yeah. Everyone says like, oh, he did it to get against his old team. No, he did it because he's fucking good.
He's great.
He's really fun.
And the GM for the Titans got fired 2 days after that win. So you can't tell me that him trading away A.J. Brown didn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah. Which is leading us into the recap of the game.
Our gut reactions.
Oh yeah, well, gut reaction. Woohoo! But the penalties, it's just.
By the way, 35-10. It was the final score.
Yeah. Insane. Like,
no one saw. I mean, that was supposed to be even at the beginning of the season. That was circled as like one of the toughest tests we would have all season. They match up well. No, I mean they.
And it's so funny how fast we beat them, and within an hour after the game, national media and all this stuff is like, I guess Tennessee wasn't as good as we thought they were. How about we went out there and fucking, despite us shooting ourselves in the foot 16 times with penalties or whatever the hell it was, we went out and executed, got it done. Defense stopped King Henry, completely shut him down.
11 carries for 30 yards. And we're never going to get the love in the national media. We're actually, ESPN has a prediction out there, some kind of, metrics calculation. We are behind the Cowboys in terms of percentage to win the Super Bowl.
And you can take the Odell Beckham and shove it up your ass, okay? They're like, if he gets him, they're guaranteed to get... No, dude, I don't buy it.
It's funny, too, because it's not like this guy isn't coming off a major injury. People are talking about this guy. He's going to come back and change a team completely. And
not when you have Dak with the performance he had that week. This week, the guy just did not deliver anything anywhere.
Dak?
Yeah.
They won by 50. They won.
Oh, I'm sorry, the week before. But regardless, I don't think Odell Beckham comes in and just completely destroys everything that we've done. But
well, I mean, yeah. the Giants say they're interested. Dallas. I don't even know why we're talking about OBJ. I'm just saying the Cowboys should not be predicted as a better favorite than the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. I don't know how they came up with that number, whatever machine they plugged in to get that, but
yeah. But yeah, gut reaction. Penalties hurt my butt. But then when we started going, and it was fun because they kept saying how our offensive line coach can be. I mean, a lot of offensive line coaches are like usually brute force men, not loudmouth, but like can beat you down with words.
They'll get in your grill.
And they were saying like we kept getting these dumb false starts, and it was like when's it gonna explode? And I don't think he ever really did, because I think he knows, like, I got some veteran dudes here.
They showed him on the sideline, and he was dropping F-bombs. He was pissed.
I think he would drop F-bombs even when we're having a great...
Well, Yeah.
Well, he didn't... Yeah, I was waiting by...
That's such a small storyline for this game. It's like... It's not like it's been a recurring thing. Not false starts. And we had 9 of them. 9 false starts.
And I think up until this, we only had 5 the whole season, I believe it was.
I couldn't tell you.
It was something... so lopsided, don't know why it happened, but they corrected it by the end of the game, obviously to win by 25 points.
Yeah, and as just we need to take a step back. As my gut reaction, we need to take a step back and really appreciate the fact that we're 11-1. This doesn't happen. You know what I mean?
4 times in when we were 10-1, it's only happened to us 4 times in our franchise history,
right?
And all 4 times,
it's been fun.
Made it to the Super Bowl,
and we dig into the games, and there's always something that's going to piss us off or should be better. Special teams, defense, offense, everything was good this game. This was supposed to be a big test. We passed it with flying colors.
It was nice to see the defensive line in every aspect step up, and we've had questions about it, and it just seems like the 2 acquisitions we got are really starting to pay off for us.
Yeah.
So do you want to give us a rundown? Do you have injuries for us?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing too crazy.
Nothing at all, really. Kaiser White came out of the game. He says he's okay. Jordan Davis only got, I think less than 10 snaps coming off of the IR. A couple people said it looked like he was limping a little bit. We haven't heard anything on that. He's definitely not re-injured or anything.
And that could just be them revamping him up. He's a young player.
Yeah.
You don't want to do anything dumb.
And a high ankle sprain's a legit injury.
Especially on a man that big.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Quez Watkins, shoulder, he's questionable. And the worst part is he hurt his shoulder on that triple fake out screen, whatever trick play it was. He got 3 yards and a injured shoulder. So.
Yeah, I'm not mad about trying it because to me, I wonder like if it's just the coach going like, all right, we have a little bit of something to play with. Like, let's see if we can try something.
Yeah, it was kind of like at this point, let's just try something.
But no, I did see a quote anyway on social media, so take that with a grain of salt. That he says he doesn't foresee him not playing this week.
Yeah, he said he was okay. So we came out of this game clean for the most part.
Yep, and as far as Goddard, it seems like things are on timeline with him, if not maybe even doing a little bit better.
And then Avonte Maddox is off IR this week, so we'll see. I don't expect him to be a full go, but
It seems like players, if things just stay, and knock on wood, if we just don't have anything dumb happen, we're going to be getting our players back right when things really, really matter.
I have to say, seeing Jimmy G go out for the season definitely put a little scare in me. I mean, if we were to lose, I mean, you could say it's about any team, but Jalen Hurts, MVP level, I mean, it just...
Yeah, don't even...
It's scary.
Yeah, it is.
But he always gets hurt.
He's been... Yeah, it's not like this is a first thing,
But it's huge for us.
It is good
now
for
San
us.
Fran, I mean, they still make the playoffs, but really it's...
One thing we didn't even mention yet at all, even between us off camera, is the draft pick. since Saints lost, we got that
Saints
draft
lost
pick.
again.
That's another big.
Yes.
That's big for
and
us.
I was saying to you, like, some people are talking, we might need to rest our players at the end of the season. We have the Saints as our second last game, and we need to beat them because that pick has to be as good as possible.
And for those who aren't super informed, basically what we're saying is there's like a contingency. If the Saints, the worse the Saints do, the better it is for the Eagles because we have their draft pick.
Yeah, we have the first round pick, so we want them to be. We want it to be a top 5, top 10 pick.
I think the highest we can get is 5. I don't know. Actually, that's too much. Anyway, let's go into this. Let's stay on topic here. Offense, we already talked about. The penalties seem to be really the only thing that wasn't 100% on board.
No. Jalen, 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. I think he threw for 380. Both Devontae and A.J. Brown had 100-yard games, and they both got in the end zone. We gave up 1 sack. Jalen did have a fumble, but we recovered it. Bud Dupree is the only person that really flashed for the Titans.
And then both are I'd call them both 2/3 tight ends. Both had some nice completions. Had some big plays.
4 catches, 60 yards for the tight ends, which was that's great production for backups.
And going off memory, I believe at least 1, maybe 2 were like third down, like third and longs.
Yeah.
So coming up in big time. Quez Watkins, I like to see that we're utilizing his speed with that end around. Doesn't always work, but
it's a wrinkle.
It is.
And without Dallas Goedert, some would say it's kind of a blessing in disguise that he got hurt when he did, because it allows us to kind of utilize more players and get them involved. So when he comes back, it's just another tool in the tool belt.
Yeah, kind of forged by flame a little bit, if you will. Bad thing
Yeah,
happen,
get thrown
and
in there.
let's turn it into an opportunity, which it seems like we're doing.
Running game didn't get going, but Titans came into the game as the 3rd best run defense and the 31st pass defense, and we just exploited it.
It's nice, and it's nice going from last week was all run, got it done on the ground, and we can do it different ways.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. We ran for over 350 last week. We threw for over 350 this week. So, I mean, if you are game planning for the Eagles, what do you stop? What do you focus on stopping? A.J. Brown? Well, Devontae Smith can beat you. You pack the box to stop the running game, we could throw it on you.
And we have,
And we have Jalen Hurts, who can be a wild card and just get out and run too. So,
and he squats so much.
Yeah, I've heard. I've heard. But yeah, the offense was great, man. There was no negatives aside from the penalties.
Dude, did you see the play? I didn't see it in live, 'cause so much going on. Dude, it was a passing play, but Kelsey down blocked on like a tackle that was like in like a 4 technique, it looked like, and dude rolled him over. Literally, the guy at one point was in the air,
sprawled out.
Dude,
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
no.
It was the guy was coming up on the guard, and Kelsey kind of down blocked and just caught him on the hip and threw this massive man in the air. It was
that's impressive. Kelsey's not the biggest guy,
and once again, that's just kind of like the knowing how to use his strengths and stuff. That was exciting.
One more thing, real quick on the offense. We saw the running backs get involved in the pass game a little bit.
And you've been preaching that for
so that was good.
2 years now.
I mean, take the check down when you have it. Because those guys, Gainwell and Sanders and Boston Scott, really, but, you have Gainwell in there on 3rd downs for a reason.
And you've seen, not so much Scott, but you've seen Gainwell have a strong game as well. When he went in there, he made, every time he had a chance, it seemed like he was capitalizing. Yeah. That's always exciting to see. But yeah, good offensive performance. That was a lot of fun against a good defense.
Coming into the game, yeah. I wasn't the only person who picked the Eagles to lose that game. So,
hey, that's a true fan. You thought, you were going with your knowledge, and I respect you for that. Some people may not.
Glad I'm wrong.
Get them. Intervention. So moving to the defense, once again, hard to say what went wrong because nothing too much. We held them to 10 points.
Yeah, you should win every game if you hold a team to 10 points.
Some big plays. There was a couple some penalties that saved us when they were in the red zone, that one possession, but that's the way the game is.
Yeah, I mean, every week we're spending too much time on penalties.
No, I was just saying that
They happen.
It happened for a positive for us a little bit. So
Yeah.
and
Let's
then,
talk about real quick the Marcus Epps hit on Treylon Burks.
Yes.
Because that was a big part of the game. Because without Treylon Burks, the Titans just had nothing.
It's one of those things. It can work both ways. When you see it live versus when you see it slow motion, you get a complete different. By the end of it, when you see in all camera angles, I didn't think it was egregious or even a penalty. To be honest,
it certainly wasn't a malicious hit. To me, it looked like he was just trying to pop the ball out of there.
He went for the ball.
In real time, you can't calculate exactly where you're going to hit somebody when they're laying out for a pass. And it did look scary. Treylon Burks was definitely out on the mat, not moving. But I don't think it was malicious intent.
There was a little bit of helmet contact, but it definitely wasn't like helmet on helmet. It was shoulder hit first and a little bit of side bump to the head. That's why I still want to know, like, was it the hit or him hitting the ground that kind of put him in such a...
I don't know.
Not also, we have to say there was someone on his back, so he kind of did get sandwiched a little bit.
Right.
But
I was just kind of an interesting way to look at it. Because Marcus Epps doesn't have a huge salary, he's going to get fined for that hit, and that basically means he played for free.
Yeah, this the fine will be worth what his game check was,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah, and that's a shame. I mean,
to put in all that work, how hard it is on your body, and to go out there and was trying to just literally make a play.
Yeah. So the defense held the Titans to 209 total net yards. I mean, that's embarrassing. That's Colts embarrassing on offense.
If you can't win that game, you're never gonna. You don't deserve to be in the NFL.
I mean, really. And once Treylon Burke goes down, and we have a lead, they can't just run Derrick Henry over and over and over again. And our defensive line got after it in a big way. 6 sacks. Josh Sweat had a big game. BG played well. Fletcher Cox had a really nice game, actually. I mean, now that his snap counts are down because of Sue and Linval Joseph, you could tell he's got more energy. He's bringing it again.
The big dog's able to get a breather and go 110% on a play.
Exactly.
And he's getting older. That's just, the game of attrition. And, it was a great move. Good job, Howie, and all the office to bring in, the defensive line support because they are immediately made an impact. But, like you've seen in this game, that was a huge, huge impact.
Yep. Can't disagree. Hargrave played well again. I think he's up to seven or 8 sacks. Sweat has 8. I mean, we're gonna get some double-digit sack guys this season. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Let's also real quick talk about Kaiser White went down, and Nakobe Dean got on the field, which everybody's been clamoring for. Why isn't he on the field? Why aren't we seeing him? Because our linebackers have been good, but he played 15 snaps. He had 6 tackles, 1 for a loss. So there you go. There's Nakobe Dean. That's really exciting.
Young gun got his name called, and he came prepared and made and fucking put his stamp on it. I'd say
he brought it on special team. We had a great special teams performance.
Finally,
laid some big hits. Yeah.
After I called him out for being the bum of last week, they came back in all aspects of the game. But before we move on past defense, I just want to say we talked defense line. Our linebackers have been showing up. D-backs, besides, I would say only 2 busted plays I'd like to call it, but quarterback scrambled decently. Defensive backs were pretty shut down as well.
Yeah, didn't get turnovers this week, but, I mean, you could tell, especially Bradbury, he didn't even respect the routes. Like, he knew he was not going to get beat deep. He almost picked off that bubble screen.
That would have been a pick 6. You would have thought someone told him that play was coming, dude. He was there, prepared, and just didn't.
Yeah, you've got to be really confident you're not going to get beat deep to be that aggressive on a play. And Bradbury stepped up and laid the wood on Derrick Henry for a tackle for a loss in that game.
which is I know he barely had any yards, but
He's huge.
dude, he is the build of him is insane. Yeah.
But we just didn't let them play their game at all. They couldn't run the ball game because we were winning.
And we gave them first quarter every opportunity to give us 3 and outs, take over the momentum early.
It had to kill them because we were getting all these penalties and converting anyway. But yeah, as a defensive unit, once Traylon Burks went out, they just didn't have any bullets.
Yeah. But yeah, then like we said, special teams.
Yeah, they get an A this week, which never happens.
Finally. So to Bum and Beast, who I had. This is for previous.
That was a really good segue, dude.
Oh, how about you take over some segue units? How about that? This was from this game, obviously. As I said at the top of the show, AJ Brown. I called him out a little bit, and he came back in a big way, a huge way. So that was my beast for the game. It was a pretty easy one to pick there. Bum for this game was hard for both of us.
Yeah, I mean, when you win and dominate like this, it's
really
tough.
had to dig down. I don't want to take shots because you originally, right off the bat, didn't like Quinn. You didn't think it was a good pick, giving up the fourth.
Just thought we gave up. Yeah, we gave up too much.
And he hasn't done anything. And I think he was supposed to play, didn't play. It said healthy scratch at one point, which I was like, I don't understand. I'm gonna give Quinn the bum of the game, I picked that before he went on IR, and it was hard to pick a bum. So just to add a little something in there, I said during the game when I was a little pissed about all the false starts, I said if we don't win this game, I was going to call Kelsey the bum because
the pregame outfit.
And it didn't bother me until the announcers were saying about putting out the Christmas album, and just in that few moments of rage, I was like, yeah, you're right. He's not paying attention. He's got a podcast now, but Kelsey, you're not the bum. It was a hard week. It was impossible to pick a bum.
Quinn's been a big disappointment. Now he's on IR,
So, I don't know how you want me to segment this. Steven, what's your bum and beast of the week?
Segue is the word I was using.
I'm saying segment.
Okay. I've got the O-line as my bum. I can't remember seeing that many false starts. Usually you get a couple, and then you lock it down. And especially in a home game, you shouldn't be having that many false starts. That's something that happens because of crowd noise and being on a hostile field. So, like you said, it's hard to pick a bum, but...
And it was so out of the blue, like we've already said.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't even think anyone, like even them, they were like, what the hell? I don't know why this is happening.
Yeah, the whole game.
Yeah.
And then my beast was Britton Covey, who had 5 returns for 105 yards.
There we go, buddy.
And that came out of nowhere because he's been averaging like 3 yards. And it was nice to see. The whole special teams really should get a beast just because they were playing like dog shit.
Yeah, they made a big turnaround. I know nothing about the Titans special teams. But it does go, I think, understated that just getting a couple yards on a punt return really can have such a huge impact on a game.
If you give the Eagles good field position, they're going to be that much more dominant.
I think just casual football players or football watchers don't even pay attention to punts. But those 10, 15 yards can really make a difference, open up different playbooks and all sorts of things.
And they're momentum setters. You
Sure.
get a big hit on defense, on a coverage, it sets a tone. But the biggest thing that we can't have is big kick returns. That should not happen. Now that the kickoffs have been moved up, and basically you can kick it in the end zone and get a touchback 90% of the time. So we got that ironed out this week. I don't know what Michael Clay did, the special teams coach, but I hope it continues.
Yeah, because it's one of special teams doesn't often win you games, but
It'll
can
lose.
really
Yes.
lose you games. So great week. Moving into next week here, right off the bat, what's your score predictions?
Score prediction, I'm going to pick the Birds this week, 30-17. I think There's no way we lose this game. That would be such a huge letdown.
Yeah, and I forgot that this is Eagles at the Giants, which it's funny because it's a 45-minute drive. If you're like in Philadelphia, you can get to that game, and it also adds to, I think, the fun of, and it goes both ways, but I think Eagles travel better there than the Giants to the Eagles. There will be it's not going to be necessarily full home field advantage. There's going to be a lot of green jerseys and
yeah, we travel well, but
especially that's an easy travel.
Yeah, it's weird that we haven't played the Giants yet this late into the season.
We were saying that during the game. Because at the beginning of the season, off-season, people were saying the NFC East is going to be weak. Don't expect much out of them. Well, we proved that. The NFC's proved that wrong, and I think they probably do it to add electric. Add fireworks at the end of the season. But we play in, I think it's 5 weeks. We play 3 divisional games at the end of this season.
Yeah, but it also adds excitement because of the playoff picture.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Teams are scratching to but I mean, what's your score prediction? What do you got?
I think we're going to double them. I like the momentum. We're going to a divisional game. I think now that we have the run game figured out, I got 28-14 Birds.
Okay.
I just we're flying. If we can just not think, if we didn't have those false start penalties,
yeah,
we would have finished that game in the third quarter, all fourth quarter.
I mean, we put our starters I think it was 9 minutes left in the game. We could have scored 50.
And that offensive line, I have no question that they can fix something that easy. That's mental. That's always say.
Yeah.
Can't fix physical stuff, but the mental stuff, they're all pros on that line.
Yeah,
there.
and I think the players will take it upon themselves. I don't even really think it needs to be pounded in them. But overall, just the Giants as an opponent, they're a weird team because they really don't have a lot of talent. Their best wide receiver is Darius Slay, who's okay, but he's not like Slayton.
Slayton, I was going to say,
Slayton.
What happened this week that I don't know?
Slayton. Who else do they have? Saquon Barkley is a great player.
And I haven't gotten to watch a lot of their games. This is fantasy knowledge. He hasn't been doing too much, so you have to go, is it game planning or is it just offensive line not being able to do it? Because even some not good run defenses, he hasn't gotten great games.
Yeah. I mean, he's the focus of their offense. So if it's anything like this week with Derrick Henry, I'd like to think we'll be able to slow him down. And then the wild card really for them is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones can actually make some plays with his legs. He's played better this year. I think Brian Daboll, the coach for the Giants, really has done a lot with not a whole lot of tools.
Yeah, I mean, they're still in the hunt, like you said, not having a lot of tools. So this is the NFL. You can never count anything. I just like our momentum right now. I think we're going to match up well. And if we can just get after the quarterback, that's the only thing that I just still feel sometimes. It's like, how did he have that much times? But
as long as we get a lead and those guys can tee off. We haven't given up a 100-yard passer rating to a quarterback this season. So, I expect good things.
So then who you got?
Who you got?
This is one of my favorite segments of the show.
Yeah, we could call them bold predictions, but we want to put a little spice in there.
Yeah, so who you got?
Who did I have?
Well, it's hard. I was going to fight you on this one because it's hard not to say Jalen is who you're going to have.
Right, but I'm predicting 2 rushing touchdowns for Jalen.
Okay, so you got Jalen.
I got Jalen on the ground. Okay. So it won't count for me if he throws for a lot of yards. He has to score
2 rushing touchdowns. Okay, I like that little caveat you added on there. I have not only who you got, but I got a nice bold prediction for you.
Okay, let's hear it.
So I got the D-line stopping Barkley for under 60 yards.
Okay.
Which
That would be great.
That right there could be a bold prediction. My real bold prediction is Sanders will double Barkley's rushing yards.
Okay.
We'll call it all-purpose yards. Let's
All-purpose. Okay.
All-purpose yards.
Still, that's pretty bold.
That's bold, and I'm doubling down. I doubled down on score prediction. I'm doubling down on our run game is going to make theirs look like they don't even have one. I'm psyched for this game.
Me too. So we both pretty much think we're gonna outclass these guys.
We're gonna go in there. We're gonna pound them down the throat, and then say you're welcome.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just don't see what they bring to the table. That's what I meant by this is such a weird team because their record's pretty good.
Yeah, it's how do you and like I'm saying all this very confidently. I haven't gotten to watch a lot of the Giants. I do want to be very honest with that. It's hard to. We have a lot of the same time games, and to go back and watch a boring team's not that much fun.
Yeah.
But especially this being a away game. First time we're seeing them. We're here to make a statement that's saying you guys aren't even going to want to come play us at home.
And we still have to keep winning because the Vikings are there. They're right behind us.
And the NFL has proven time and time and time again, you cannot let off the gas pedal, whether it be the season, trade lines, in-game, whatever it is. Like there's no letting up in the NFL.
No. December's where you make your bread.
So many things can happen. I mean, we know that just having crappy teams make it to the playoffs. Like last year, how the hell did we make it to the playoffs? Because someone let up the pedal.
There.
Yeah. But
we don't want to limp into the end of the season. So I think we're gonna bring it. But they're a well-coached team, so that is a bold prediction to double their output in the score. And Sanders doubling down on Saquon. We'll see.
I was going to say our running game will double Barkley, but that's not that bold of a prediction.
No, not with this team.
It costs no money for me to throw this down. If I'm wrong, then whatever.
Right, we got no money on it.
But I did want to mention, and we gave him some love last week. I'm going to give a little honorable mention, and you did too. We both kind of came to it for Blankenship.
Yeah, Reed played well again.
And we've had a lot of discussion there with, Garner going down. That game, we were afraid. We're like, holy shit, that guy's been awesome for us.
Yeah.
Guys stepped up. Once again, this is a social media thing I glanced over. I believe he's graded as a top 5 safety this week in the NFL. I think it was like 85.5. So,
yeah, he brings physicality that none of the other safeties do.
And like you mentioned, we've talked about before in other episodes that we can't pay everyone this offseason, so this gives us a little...
At least it would feel better.
If he keeps pulling it up, it's like, and sometimes safeties can get a big payday. Yeah,
they can usually get one in their careers. But, I want them to re-sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah.
But if they can't, at least you feel a little bit... And we'll see. It's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But... we expected him to get exposed, and he hasn't been exposed.
So keep it up, young gun. It's really fun seeing you back there and just taking advantage of every opportunity you get. Oh, and like you were saying, he's one of the few. We don't have a boom man on defense.
No, we don't.
Edwards can get tackles, but Blankenship seems to really throw his body around.
And well, you could tell he wants to take advantage of the opportunity and flash. Yeah, I mean, he took a personal foul last week, but not this week.
And that's that's something in the city of Philadelphia we notice. If you really want a tackle's great, but a boom tackle that gets us flowing. Yeah. So overall, go Birds. That was that, especially on a 1:00 game to get a win. It just makes the rest of the day so much better.
And we were comfortable the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why I was saying earlier, like, you really got to take a step back and appreciate this season so far. Because aside from like 3 games, we've been pretty comfy. Do you think this was the best win of the season?
I still think the first game, it was tight, and it's against the Lions, but it's just it's hard. You got to almost put that in like an outlier because it's the first real game of the season, so there's so much excitement, and it was close. But yeah, you know what? As far as best win, I think so.
I still feel like the Vikings win was bigger because that was the game I was the most nervous for coming into it.
I guess if you look at the record, that probably makes more sense. This was a statement game.
Definitely was a statement game.
So,
yeah.
This is the first game that we got to just breathe normal the whole time.
Yeah. Once Traylon Burks went down, it was over.
Besides the those yellow fucking flags piss me off.
Big part of the game, flags now.
And I just can't get over it. I never will. I don't know. I think yellow is like my red for Bulls. So, go Birds. We said this is an exciting episode. It doesn't stop there. We got more. A lot of Philly noise.
Yes.
It's so far from the... It's fun when something cool happens in the off season that is worthwhile talking about. So, Fightin' Phil's had some big news for us.
Yeah, man. Dave Middleton, the owner of the Phillies, really stepped up. And we got Trey Turner.
We got Trey Turner. You've been, I got to say, and I don't know if someone mentioned this to you, but you've been saying this for quite a while now.
Yeah, last episode I guaranteed it.
And I mean, shit, like a week after the World Series, you were mentioning Trey Turner.
Yeah. Well, I just knew that we really needed another infielder because Segura was not coming back. Didi Gregorius gone. And because of the connection with Bryce Harper, it was no secret that the Phillies really wanted to sign him. But
everyone wanted to sign him.
Well, yeah, and for it to happen on the first day of winter meetings, I didn't expect that. I think it was going to take some time. But he is signed for 11 years, I believe. I have it written down here.
Yes.
11 years, $300 million, full no trade clause. So he'll be here when he's 41, according to that contract.
Well, you know what? Him and Bryce, they can get us a couple championships and then retire as Phillies.
Yeah, no one expects him to actually be here that long. But, I mean, this is a guy who hits 300 off left-handed and right-handed pitching. He steals 20-plus bags a year. He hits 20-plus home runs a year. He's a plus defender. We can move Stott over to second base now. Just a huge...
There's nothing bad you could say about the whole contract. I mean, it seems like a lot of money, but that's the MLB now.
It's actually... The Padres were going to pay him more, and he opted to come to Philly.
Do you know, has he spoken out about why he did that, or was it just the Bryce?
Nah, he haven't even had the Trey Turner press conference yet, which I'm very much looking forward to. But, again, I think it has a lot to do with, the Bryce Harper connection. It was said that he wanted to come back to the East Coast. And the Phillies were in the World Series. You know what I mean?
And it's so big with Bryce being out till the All-Star break is their timeline. Yeah. We've talked about this off camera so many times. Baseball season's so crazy. You said it today. If baseball was invented, there's no way they would play this many games.
No.
Like, if they invented it today, it would be half the season. But so we have someone that can come in and keep us afloat. Keep us well above.
I mean,
water.
we played pretty well last season without Bryce Harper, but now this guy is honestly, he doesn't have the power that Bryce Harper has, so he's not as popular, if you will. But this is an impact player on Bryce Harper's level, and I'm not exaggerating.
Let's go, Phil. Yeah, thank you, The Office, and this is 2 seasons in a row that he's putting his money where his mouth is, and that's what you have to do in baseball.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. That is...
To compete for a World Series? Yeah.
To compete to even get into November.
For real?
Or to get, to be around in October even, like...
And I hope... Please, we can't go because we're in Pittsburgh. Philadelphia natives, tri-state people, show up to Citizens Bank Ballpark. Fill that ballpark this season. Because last season, it took a long time for the fans to believe that this team was worth showing up and buying tickets to go see. John Middleton said he was willing to spend stupid money. Dave Dombrowski got it done. We're spending stupid money. And, I mean, let's look at this team real quick. You expect to see Trey Turner batting first, Stott probably second. Harper third. Schwarber fourth. Hoskins fifth. JT sixth. Hoskins seventh.
You said Hoskins.
Did I?
Yeah, you had him at the 5th spot.
Okay, so we go Hoskins, JT, Castellanos, and then Marsh. So who's
That's a fun lineup to
who's
watch.
the weak bat there?
Castellanos.
Oh, you know how I'm missing Alec Boehm.
Oh yeah, and he started. He's
He
on momentum.
came on last season.
Yeah.
So maybe Schwarber will still bat first. It is nice to have that pop up top. But you just look at that on paper and you say the worst bat in that lineup is Marsh because he can't hit left-handed pitching.
Yeah.
But he's a burner, and if he gets on base, he can steal bases. Turner can steal bases. Shit, Schwarber steals bases.
On paper, this is an obvious playoff team.
Oh yeah, if they don't make the playoffs, it'd be a travesty. And then you look at the rotation right now. We've got Nola, who leads the league in innings pitched in the last 5 seasons. You got Wheeler, who's a bona fide ace. Suarez is just fun to watch.
Yeah.
And he showed up big in the playoffs. We expect Andrew Painter to come up this season and fill one of those spots in the rotation. And then we still got money to play with.
I was going to say, I mean, the World Series, we both said it the whole time. It was like, they're just going to have too many pitchers for us to handle.
Too many arms for us.
So that's the only, we got some money. We know the only thing that needs to be fixed, basically, which is
It's a nice spot to be in.
Yeah, we're in a great spot, and I don't know any names out there that, contracts are ending or anything like that, but
there's a lot of pitchers out there. Not top. We're obviously not going to sign another $30 million a year guy, but there's a lot of arms. Because if we already have our top 3 starters kind of penciled in, you're not really having to shell out crazy contracts to fill the spots. And the biggest thing is, and there's no doubt in my mind that this will get done, we need to fill out that bullpen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because we were out-armed against the Astros. It was glaring. It came to fruition, just like I was saying it was going to, because, that's what wins World Series.
That's why we were able to win the first, early on, because we could just throw everything we had at it. But that game, we went into extra innings. It was like
we had to use all our bullpen.
We're watching that game, and I'm asking you, I was like, do we have anybody else? I was like, we're going to have to fucking get a backup catcher to pitch if this guy goes down or something. So
that's what and we still have Bailey Falter, who got some starts into the playoffs.
Did we have someone retire? A pitcher retire?
No.
No? Okay. Stupid social media.
But just on paper, that starting 9 with the DH, I mean, the Mets are still good. The Braves are still good.
And the Mets signed Astros pitcher.
Verlander. Yeah, but they lost DeGrom to the Rangers.
Okay.
So, and they might lose Chris Bassett, too, which is a name that we're targeting as like a 3rd, 4th starting pitcher. I mean, he owned us last season, Bassett. So I was looking earlier to see what the MLB ticket is going to cost me.
I was about to say, hey, fans, you see this kid's...
I'm excited, man.
You see how he's got all this paperwork and stuff done. I'm a fan, and I get excited. The dude does his research. Someone get him NFL
Please.
or MLB ticket.
It's for you guys.
It's going to benefit you guys because in the summer, in the dog days when it's hot, he'll be grinding out games and taking notes so you guys can sit in the air conditioning and learn about your team.
And we will go see the Phillies play the Pirates.
Oh, yeah. I do that. It's, well, besides, the pandemic type of thing, we've gone every time we had the opportunity to, pretty much.
I haven't been this excited for a baseball season in a long time, man.
It's a good time to be a Philadelphia sports fan.
Yeah, I guess we have to get into the other sports.
Yeah, real quick, because it's just, once football's over, after we win a freaking Super Bowl, we'll be covering the Sixers. We do like the Sixers.
Real quick. Sorry, how are we good on time, Rachel, just for something real quick?
45
Okay.
minutes.
That's pretty good, because we said we were going to go a little long. Howie Roseman won a Super Bowl in 2017 with a completely different staff and a completely different roster. If we were to win a Super Bowl this season with a completely different coaching staff, top to bottom, different quarterback, I think there's like 6 players left from that team.
It might be less by now.
That doesn't happen. GMs come and go. It's not like an owner. Like a GMs.
They're the throwaway piece for the owner. They're like a protection piece for the owner.
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah. When the roster isn't performing, it's the coach of the GM. So I'm just saying, if we were to win a Super Bowl, does that make Howie Roseman like Hall of Fame GM?
Well, now that he's finally drafted a good first-round pick with Devontae Smith.
Yeah, receivers has not been a strong point.
Drafting hasn't been.
Yeah, the last couple seasons have been okay, looking decent.
We've gotten our talent from acquisitions, and he is a guru when it comes to financials. They say like he knows how to move things around, just make the money work. I would, as a GM, 2 Super Bowls under your belt, you have to be at least in contention.
Yeah,
With the moves he's made, I mean,
and just the completely different. The team is completely different. You know what I mean? The continuity. We've had 2 coaches since then.
how long has he been?
He's been with the team for a long time.
But how long has he had the GM? Under 10 years?
Well,
now?
he had it, and then Chip Kelly
the whole Chip.
fired him and put him in a little closet
Throw
in the
those years
NovaCare
away.
Center. So I don't know how many years, but it's been over a decade. And he's basically Jeffrey Lurie's right-hand man.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to, it can't be understated how hard that is to do. Especially when after Wentz just shit the bed and just dismantled what we thought we had.
And that goes to show a true fan there, because we have shit on that man so bad before.
Howie?
Yeah.
There was I've called for him to go because of his drafting, even last year.
And then you do this and totally redeem yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, good job for him. To run through the other teams, like I said, we'll get more into the Sixers when it becomes a little bit, when football's over, basically. Lost in double overtime. The Flyers finally won. Who cares? Seriously, not only I like hockey, the sport itself, but when your team sucks, it's not even worth me putting the effort in to try and watch a game.
Mm-mm.
It really is.
And honestly, I really think that hockey tried to brighten up their image. It's a more high-scoring game now. It's more fast, no fighting. And I think they really screwed up because that's what they had to bring viewers in because it was different than other sports.
I think when you ask like old head hockey fans, they'll say that they'll totally agree with you.
Yeah. And
There's always the debate of the fighting and stuff, but everyone agrees there should be an enforcer because it's the thing where it self-governs itself. I think all old hockey fans would agree with that. But yeah, they messed with the dimensions of the ice, the goalie pad size, all this type of stuff. So,
and now it's just another sport. It used to be like, I don't know.
yeah.
It's disappointing because I joke around and I say, like, hockey sucks, blah, blah. Hockey is a fun sport to watch, especially playoff hockey.
True. Well,
But
it's
the
a different
Flyers have literally been the dregs of the league now for 5-6 years.
Yeah, so, but that has been our episode. I had a lot of fun this whole week for Philly sports. It's been a good time for us. I was surprised it took you a little bit longer to text me back, but you weren't feeling well. You're a little under the weather. But when I sent that screenshot,
Trey Turner
we
deal.
got Trey Turner.
Yeah, I was in bed, curled up.
The boy was hurting.
Feel better now, though.
That probably helped you get a little bit better. That was a mental win. Birds winning. We're on a roll. Let's go. This has been Homesick Philly Bros.
Yeah, fun times. Keep coming back.
It's
y'all.
a good time to be Philly sports fans. We go through a lot of pain and agony.
Yeah.
And we stick through it through and through. But that's what makes us Homesick Philly Bros. Presented by AML Media. Rachel, you want to give us the plugs one more time?
Okay, we are on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. I have all of our social media handles on the screen, so take a screenshot if you're watching the video. Otherwise, you can go to our website, To find all of our links there, it's AML.NEWS.BLOG.
And that has been our beautiful producer, Rachel Labordi. I am Gene Labordi, and my brother, Stephen Labordi. We are Homesick Philly Bros. Love you guys. Get us the MLB ticket. Story time, bonus content. So this was a, we'll call it a documentary, but it's definitely affiliated with NFL productions, NFL films. I forget the year, but it was when the famous game against Brian Boswell was playing Bo Jackson, and that was supposed to be like middle linebacker versus the best running back, you know, head on head. Bo was on the Raiders, and he was Boswell was on Seattle, and this random dude. It's funny how this story starts. This random dude just owns this bird sanctuary somewhere. I think it was Portland or something like that.
Okay.
And he just owns a shit ton of land, and he just like finds hurt birds, you know, sometimes eagles and all this shit, and just rehabilitates them and releases them back into the wilderness. I forget how he said he got the idea, but he was going to go to a game, and he had this seagull that was just finally healthy enough, and he goes, wouldn't it be funny if we released this seagull just into the arena,
right into the crowd?
And so I guess I imagine it was happening around. It was definitely happening around drinks because it was happening in a bar. And the owner of this bar goes, "I'll give you $500 if you attach some ribbons on his legs with my bar's name on it."
Right. Okay, like a promo.
Yeah. So they do it. They get these tiny, ribbons that won't stop the flying of the bird, and write the bar's name on there. And it was the husband and the wife of the bird sanctuary that are going to get it in. Well, the plan was they were going to release it on the first touchdown, but the wife couldn't get in right away because they just started checking bags really, and she had the seagull in her purse. So then she goes, "Well, I know if I wait a little bit,
How big is a seagull?
It's a pretty big bird.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
It's not small.
It's not a cockatoo.
No, and
I think a cockatoo's actually a big bird too.
Cockatoo's a big bird. Anyway, and it's a natural bird. So anytime it gets a chance, it's gonna bite your fingers and shit.
Yeah.
So, and the lady, who they're pretty old now, she goes, "Oh, you go in. I'll wait. Eventually, they'll stop doing security because this is before everything was going crazy."
Right.
So she's hanging out, and she goes out, and she said, "I basically had to fight this bird because she was like, I feel bad. It's in the purse." I was trying to give it air, and as soon as she's unzip it, the fucking seagull just be snapping all over at her and shit. But then she realizes a dude's just letting people go in, zips it up, goes in, and it was supposed to be a tight game because remember Boswell kind of was a bust a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't really pan out.
Yeah, and Bo Jackson was fucking Bo Jackson. So the Seahawks scored in the first quarter, but they didn't score again until quite a while into the game. It was a bit of a blowout game. Well, they finally score. She hands him the seagull, and nobody even realized because everyone stands up and cheers. When that happens, he just takes the bird and lets it go. And so obvious, this is a dome. They're inside, and so this bird's just flying around the whole game. And the cameras are on it because then they go, "There's something on its foot," and they're the announcers were speculating. They're like, "Was this supposed to be a halftime thing that got messed up?
Right.
Why is this?" And once again, seagulls its wingspan is really noticeable, even on those old shitty cameras. You're seeing it go by, and game ends.
And the bird's still flying around.
Dude, the bird was there for days and days. It wasn't PETA. It was called Paws. It was people again. I forget, but it was basically a PETA went there and was trying to capture this bird. Well, the fucking bird's thriving, dude. It's just eating popcorn, leftover popcorn, hot dogs and shit, and then just hanging on the center. Not even this fucking the rafters, hanging on top of the jumbotron. So there's news. This is a news story for weeks, and dude, the FBI or. They said the feds. They call them the feds. I don't know what that, these are old heads, so that could have just been the cops. But the feds started asking questions because then these ribbons came out of this guy's bar. And they go, "You know anything about this?" And the guy goes, I think well, I don't know, and was trying to beat around the bush. Ends up questioning the wife, and the wife, it's funny, she goes, I don't know if I can get in trouble for this, but I lied to the feds because I said I knew nothing about it. Because no one could get this fucking bird, and it's like, it's become like a national story. And then eventually this random dude, it's funny how he's so nonchalant about it. They surprise him because they were like, it went from this was funny to like, we're going to get in trouble if this bird can't get safely out of there. Like, this was like right when it seemed like right when animal activists really started being around, and the feds are sniffing around, so they're scared.
Yeah, I can't believe the feds were involved in a bird.
Yeah, and the whole time, like, because a lot of people said like there's like trap doors up in there that they could have let to help release this bird. But that's kind of just semantics, we'll call it. But eventually, this guy, he like surprises them. He never met the bird sanctuary people. He goes, yeah, I'm the guy who caught the bird and like let him go. It's like this old hippie. And the way he talks about it, he's like, yeah, I just kind of like wandered in there at night, and I had a fishing pole and some type of fish that seagulls eat. And it's like, I just like made like a lasso, like a slip knot, real big, and held it down with banana peels and put the fish inside of it, and then just hung out there behind these golf carts for a while with my fishing rod. And then the bird finally go in there, caught it, and he's like, I caught it by 2 toes, so I was lucky to get it, picked it up, released it, and let it go. And then so like the cops immediately and shit stopped sniffing around. But
right,
it's just funny that it's made it to the NFL films and stuff, and they were able to track down everybody. But it was like one of the biggest, that was one of the biggest games of that era, because it was, I think there was a lot of build up, obviously, of Bo Jackson and the Boz going against each other that I think dates back to college days. Probably. And this is going on. The game becomes a blowout, and there's just so much footage of just a camera. You know how many cameras are in those games of just this seagull, and then was hanging around, and everyone's like, I don't know why it's not trying to escape. And the dude's like, because there's a lot of hot dogs and popcorn left around, man. The bird's gained weight since it's been here.
Right. How about that?
But yeah, so that's a little story time. Sports can also have fun little tiny
NFL Films does a great job with stuff like that.
There's tons of them out there. So maybe after we'll always do a little story time, because there's a lot of good ones out there, and we can put it out as bonus content for the fans. Bye.